My friend gave me one of these classic Lego base plates. So we gotta do something with it. We could just go ahead and build an actual castle on it, but what I have been thinking is I wanna do one of those old fortresses, kind of the wooden fortresses. So where we have like tower and a tower and a tower, and then this ends up becoming a valley for the characters to traverse. Because I don't wanna hide all this awesome color that's already built into the base plate. And you can see that the rest of the world that we are going to end up putting it in is gonna be elevated up to this height. So it's gonna dip down and be a little bit of a divot as they come in and then rise back up to that brick height. Our multi-modular landscaping requires these bricks, and so that will end up being to that height, as I said. So we'll brick it up and make it a little bit of a fancy slope. I might use some of the pieces or at least soldiers from this set that we built a while ago. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I need to put it on that modular landscaping, so we're gonna have to tear apart this whole build. And then also a second reason for doing that is because then we will have extra space to put the spaceship, and then we can move this to the side, and then our final product will have some actual shelf space so we know where to put it on our display. Sometimes I like to do a concept sketch of my plan. So this grayness is the base plate, and then we'll build a few buildings, and I thought of doing rope bridges, and that was something that came to me while I was drawing this up. And overall, I think it's gonna look pretty good. And then this is that passageway. In preparation for building, I tend to gather some pieces that I think will be useful. And then we also have all these rock pieces and then nature-esque pieces as well. And then I have a bunch of these broken staircases that it would be really nice if I could figure out a way to incorporate it and utilize these broken pieces into my build. And then we start doing our concept work with actual Lego. So I'm thinking we won't do too much building on this. We'll probably just do nature and esque things and maybe that. And then up here we'll have one level of build, and then we can do a bridge across, have 2 levels, and then a bridge across, and then there'll be a total of 3 levels. And I feel like that will give it a good depth, and then it'll be nice that on the front it is lower than the back, and the back will be taller because then you can kind of see it at a distance, and the front isn't covering the stuff behind as much. And then we also have these spider webs that I think will be some good accent pieces as well. So just kind of laying down some pieces, but it's all going to be evolved, and we're not actually using what's been placed, but it's just to kind of get an idea of some possibilities. My friend also gave me an epic arsenal of minifigures. We got a bunch of Star Wars and Knight. And look at this. This is a Lion Knight horse. So I'm thinking we could have this Lion Knight King lead our legion with the horse. But the funny thing is I'm doing a red yellow color scheme for the Lion Knights, and then this is kind of blue, not the correct colors. It almost looks more like he's going to be a Falcon Knight. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but maybe Crown Knights, I guess, because he's got the little crown on there and the color scheme of our Crown Knights. So yeah, it might fit our Crown Knights. I literally just dropped one of these stairs on the floor, so I'm going to use it to my advantage and have like a broken staircase leading up to one of the towers. While building, I had the thought this would be the perfect build to integrate the Pirates of the Caribbean cannibal set. So I have one built and one kind of destroyed so we can use the parts, and then keep one more esteemed to what it was actually is. And so I'm going to figure out how to put it in. I really don't know what I'll do, but I think it will work out. My sketch didn't have a final bridge, but while building, I decided and found that this set was a little bit weak. So we've added a bridge and it gave it enough strength that we can actually hold this one-handed. Ooh, maybe not, but okay, here we go. One-handed. And before, without that bridge, that would have not been possible. So we got some good strength. Here we are with our final product. It turned out way different than I was originally planning. I was thinking it was gonna be much more brown. Like, yes, it's a lot brown, but I threw in way more leaves and greenery. So I was originally thinking it was gonna be kind of like those barbarian outposts, but it kind of has turned into a jungle tribal outpost. And I thought it was perfect to have all these characters because, as I said, there are none in my other Lego collection, like all my minifigure parts, had nothing that would be good for barbarians. So maybe to kind of make it fit into our fantasy world, we're gonna wanna throw in some knights traversing, like walking down here through the valley, and then we can have these guys attacking them. So we could set that up. But let's go into a little bit more detail what I've actually done. So just starting from the very beginning, we have our fire pit, just of them sitting around, well, chanting, getting ready for attacking this lonely soldier. And one of the things I was thinking while building this is I wanted the front to be low, so that's why we have a fire pit out front and then the height out there in the back. So we can follow our pit or follow our path up the railway and we get into this little part of the old set, but I added this tree, so the Pirates of the Caribbean set, and we have Will Turner just sitting in the cage of bones. And we also have another cage of bones over here that I tried tucking into there, but it never would fit. So we'll have to figure out somewhere else to put it. But we also got our parrots. So those are, I would say they're friendly, but they are friendly to the wrong sort of people. Anyways, we cross our bridge and come across into the taller tower of the two. And it's kind of interesting. I feel like it was built onto a tree, but that's what I was originally going for, but it kind of turned more into just like a wooden fort that has leaves growing on it. So I don't think it's exactly realistic. And if you look at the backside, it does look unpleasant, not the most pleasing to the eye. And we all will feel like Will Turner when we look at this side, like we have an eyesore. Anyways, that's why we look at it all the way from this side. But another thing I just want to point out is it does make sense, like you could have your minifigures walk across this whole path and come up, but then you get up here and there used to be a tower and a bridge that came up to a taller tower, but this whole section has fallen apart and the spiders have infiltrated and taken over this whole region of the base. But our tribal members do not care, and we have a newfound king or chief to worship, or not we do, but the tribe people have their new chief. We don't worship Jack Sparrow, but these guys do. But anyways, I think it's turned out pretty good because we have a treacherous path down the center for our minifigures with a good outscape. So it turned out to be more jungle themed, which I think really fits well with the moss, better than I was originally planning of like foresty thing. So I think it looks great. Like, if any of you have a qualm with this, take it up with me in the comments section, but I'm not gonna listen to you. I like it. It looks good. And one of the best parts is it perfectly fits on the shelf. Like, turns out great. So that looks pretty good, and it will be awesome when we have other forests. Like, I'm thinking of doing a base plate that kind of transitions from jungle into a little bit more of an elaborate glowy forest, and we'll use all of these avatar pieces. I may have to buy a couple more sets to get these glowing colors, but that is in the works and in the plans to have the Tree of Glowingness. I don't remember what it's called. The Tree of Souls, I think, is this name. And then have kind of this base plate will be the transition piece. So it'll go from darker jungle wood to this brighter color. And so you're starting to see a little bit of how our fantasy world is going to come together. For more LEGO adventures, click this little video right here. See you in the next video. You are awesome.